All right, all right, all right. What's going on, guys? Happy Tuesday. It's Omni X-Men Day. We took a break last week, but we are back. I'm Justin, aka No Good Comics, and as always, I am with my boy John. Oh, I pointed in the right direction. Look at that.
Yeah.
From John's Comics with Kids. What's going on, John?
Merry Christmas, everybody. I got some holiday things happening here. I'm not in my usual corner, but I still got Chinatown back there somewhere.
I dig it. And we got another special guest going on tonight, and I'm really excited because it's my man Jeffrey from Jeffrey Komikhan. What's going on, brother?
Not much. How are you guys doing tonight? It's good to see you both. Good to be here.
Likewise.
I don't know, Jeffrey, if you saw, we did an issue. We read issue, I want to say 102 or something, and right afterwards, somebody recommended reading. It was Chet-Eye. He recommended reading Incredible Hulk Annual number 11 or something 10, and it was a Hulk tie-in with the X-Men. Dude, it was a great freaking issue, and I think I even messaged you like, "This is a cool issue." Iceman, Angel, Sentinels, and the Hulk.
It's a good mix. That is a good mix.
Sounds pretty cool. I don't think I have. Oh yeah, I see that. I don't have that one though.
It's a cool.
To look at it.
So before we jump into things, I want to remind everybody, especially if you are watching the replay, first of all, thank you for taking the time to watch the replay. And make sure you stick around. If you're here live in the chat right now, stick around until after we break down the issue, which we're breaking down issue 105 in case anybody was wondering. But stick around because we have questions. We have raffles to that you can partake in. We have a couple different giveaways, including an omnibus and some X-Men mystery boxes. So definitely stick around for that. If you guys are not familiar with it, it's all questions based on last episode. So you got to either catch the episode or at least know the issue. Sometimes that can help as well. So we'll get into those questions afterwards. Let's say a quick hello to the chat, and then we can dive into this breakdown. So we got Todd Christian is in the house, nice and early. Hello, sir. We got PJ King as well. Hey, all, he says. We got John's Comics with Kids is in the house as well. Magic Lasso, hello. Good to see you. Yeah, Baby Phoenix on the cover. Yes, sir. Let's see here. We got Beta Ray Jim in the house. What's up, Beta? Jackson Roy Kirk, hello. A lot of the regulars coming in, which is always nice. Alan, Climbing Comics, good to see you, brother. Thanks for stopping in. All right, I think that's everybody at the moment. We'll definitely check that out a little later. So let's just get some overall thoughts at the moment, just at this first this before we dive into it. I'm going to start off with Jeffrey. Jeffrey, if you had to give this book a grade, like a 1 out of 10, what would you give it, and what are your overall thoughts of the book in general?
Well, going into this is the oldest X-Men book that I've read. So like I haven't read any of the previous ones, so I don't know the exact full storyline. I'm gonna say right in the 7 range. Like the storyline was good, but it was just. It kind of felt like it was a tying in book. So like this one didn't really accomplish anything, which is kind of like, like what I look for. Like there was a lot of good points. The story was cool. Like, we'll get into it, I'm sure, without giving anything away. The story was cool. Characters, everything went well, but it just felt like it didn't conclude to anything other than leading into some, obviously the next issue. So like without there being a conclusive ending to it, like I definitely say like, it was a solid issue 7.
I think that's a fair grade, especially as you mentioned that you haven't read any of the previous ones, and this is something kind of new to you in terms of jumping back this far. So I definitely think that's fair because this issue does have some. I could see. I mean, certainly there are some random things that kind of come into play here, especially if you haven't read the ones before this. So, John, what about you? What did you think overall?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like this issue suffered from. Like there was some rushing of story elements, which is weird considering how long they've been building up this Eric the Red thing. They rush a bunch of story elements. The fight scenes were really cool. Phoenix does some cool stuff. There's obviously the usual nonsensical things. I felt like the artwork wasn't as good as it had been in some of the previous issues. So I do agree with Jeffrey. There were some flaws for sure that bugged me a little bit. it is a Phoenix issue, and for those Phoenix fans like Lasso and I, it is a huge book. Seeing Phoenix full power is kind of cool. I would say somewhere in the 8 range for me personally.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Definitely, I would put it around 8.5 for myself. A big reason is because of the fact that we finally get to seeing what this whole buildup was with Lilandra. I guess the downside of that is that we still didn't get enough, I feel like, which definitely was like, and this is the other reason Beta Ray just nails it here. There just wasn't enough Animen.
More Animen.
I think that's one of the bigger
Shout
problems.
out to Jeffrey, though. So Jeffrey, his copy of this, you have saved a copy of 105 from a dumpster.
Yeah, you got to show that thing.
I literally, so I know some people are pierced and they get mad at you for touching books. This book is in bad shape, but I found this book literally in a dumpster at the garbage dump. So like it was getting ready to be trashed. So it's not a good book, and I'll touch it and I read it, and then
But you saved it, Jeffrey.
Absolutely. Like it could have been in worse shape, and I still saved it. So pages are brown. Like it's definitely seen a lot better days, but it's the book that I read for this show tonight. So
it lived another day.
It did, man.
Something special.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. I couldn't believe it.
That's awesome.
Pretty excited.
At least it's able to do its purpose. That's the whole thing. At the end of the day, you're able to get the story out of it. That's awesome.
Yeah, man. I was pretty happy to save it. That's all.
For sure. Comics Kings is in the house. Hello, Comics King. Good to see you, Brandon.
And Stay Puff cruised by. Good to see you, Stay Puff.
Oh, we did. I missed him.
Sean.
Hey, what's up, Stay Puff?
And Chet, he's touching it, but he saved it, Chet. He saved it.
Hey, dude, I couldn't tell you what else this book has been touched by. So unfortunately,
it was bound for the garbage, and he has rescued it. So huge job.
Oh,
yeah, there you go. Lasso says to slab it, Jeffrey.
Yes.
Press it. Hey, I'll tell you, I found a copy of Amazing Spider-Man 135, which is technically the second full appearance of Punisher. Rolled, like somebody had rolled it up as like a tube, like to kill a bug or something.
Man,
pressed it out, and it looked beautiful. Just flattening it out made that book look 100 times better.
I believe it. I've seen some crazy like fixes to some.
Get a couple of dictionaries and just or a couple of short boxes and press it.
There was like dirt all in it. Like I literally went through with like a washcloth that dry, not wet, it was dry, and like had to clean every page, get the sand.
Look at you, man! Saving Claremont. That's what I like.
Yeah,
that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. What's up, Kachong is in the house. He has been checking out a lot of our replays. He's finally made a live show tonight, so that's awesome. Kachong, good to see you, brother. Thanks for.
And he is booked to join us on issue 108.
That's right, which is right around the corner.
Yeah.
So that is perfect. All right. Well, I think we can dive into this. Let's bring up the to do the presentation here.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go.
I will say I dig this cover with the X-Men laying all around, Jean reaching back to blast energy, and Firelord zipping in. I think there's a lot of good action here. I think it's a busy cover, so I get why they picked white for that background, because otherwise I think if it had a background of a different color, this would be such a distracting cover. But I do dig this cover. I think it's cool.
Yeah, definitely. Firelord really stands out there too.
Right. So before we went live, Jeffrey was like, hey, how does this tie in? So I decided to include where we left off last time. Nice. Because I was super confused reading the beginning of this issue. This was the last panel from the last issue. And for me, it looked like Eric the Red, Polaris, and Havoc were looking in the window of the apartment where Jean and her parents and Misty Knight and Professor X are sitting. But they're not. They're looking at a computer screen in the mansion. I did not understand that at all. And this is where it messed me up, because the very first panel in this issue is fighting in the mansion. And in my head, I'm like, wait, did I miss an issue? did I miss something here? Because I am lost. It took me a while to figure out where everybody was. So I was totally confused. That panel literally looks like they're looking in a window, not at a computer screen.
Totally. No, it totally does. That's where I was bringing up last time, that it looks like the Punisher cover where Punisher is like looking in that window or whatever. It just like reminded me of that. But yeah, I thought the same thing. I didn't realize that it was a computer screen.
And then I got super confused because of how rushed this issue is. Where characters are, because they zip back and forth between the mansion and this apartment in downtown New York. They're zipping back and forth, and I get lost where they are sometimes, and I get super confused. Wait, weren't they at that mansion? Now they're not. Now they're back. I can't. So that was something that kind of bugged me.
That was one thing it felt like is like there's a lot of characters in this issue that they try to like. They don't really. The focus. That's one thing with the X-Men. It's a group thing. You got to focus on everybody. Well, they focus on, I guess, Jean Grey a little bit more, but
in this issue particularly,
So I think they do a pretty good job with that.
Kachug says Jean's out of the hospital. She is. Misty Knight's been taking care of her. They're at her parents' apartment having a conversation. And Eric the Red is trying to use this opportunity to break into the mansion for some reason, drawing the X-Men in.
I do want to add too for last episode, Jeffrey. If you get a chance, I would say go check out 104 at some point, because it is an awesome issue, and it basically is Magneto's like time to shine, and he just like completely destroys the new team.
I went to the comic shop just earlier today, and I was actually looking to see if they had any like trades of the previous issues for this. Obviously, they did not, but
yeah, it's definitely worth it. And that's basically where they were getting their butts kicked. They kind of retreat in a sense to come back to the mansion where we are now, because they know that there's a bigger issue going on where they have to save Professor X. So that's kind of where we were left off diving into this one.
Gotcha.
Okay, so let's dive in. We start with the X-Men fighting Red. We have another one of these great spread pages with the X-Men fighting Eric the Red, and then Firelord busts in on these guys. I dig this spread. I dig a ton, way more than the one in the previous issue that it has a mirrored pattern.
If I'm not mistaken, this is like the only splash like spread one in this issue. I don't know. Maybe
you're totally right. You're totally right.
Is that how they do it in other ones too? Because I know nowadays there's like 4 or 5 splash pages in the new.
Yeah, I was gonna say this issue is very light on that, because I think they have so much story they're trying to pack in. I think they were just trying to rush through so much.
Because there's one panel towards the end of this issue that I feel like should get its own full page, and we'll get there, I'm sure, and talk about it. You guys probably might know which one I'm talking about just when I say that, but it's a good one. I just kind of wish there would have been at least one, maybe another one or something.
Yep.
So this is a pretty cool little fight here. X-Men. Eric the Red finally, because there's been so many issues of Eric the Red is setting something up. He's manipulating for some reason. He's trying to accomplish some devious thing. And now he's brought in yet another villain to aid him with Firelord. And we get X-Men versus Firelord. Nightcrawler bouncing all around, but they're all kind of getting themselves beat up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, he's certainly much more powerful than I think any of them anticipated. And this is their first time meeting him, right? They don't even know who he is, right? So he does seem he was a little frustrating to me, I feel like, because I don't know, I guess the communication is what frustrates me. Like he just like kind of took the word of Eric the Red and is just like, oh, these X-Men are like these bad guys. All right, yeah, I can take care of them for you. Like didn't even question like, could I have been lied to in any way? Like, no. This creepy guy in a red suit, he's just going to believe him and start kicking butt, in the other direction. I don't know.
I had that kind of a thought too. So.
Yeah. I mean, it does make him seem kind of an idiot when we get to the monologuing bit, which I think is right here.
Yes.
I wrote, nobody monologues like Eric the Red. So Firelord rescues him, and they decide to spend like 6 panels setting up where did this Firelord guy come from. I think it's a very frustrating sequence to read. It's very boring and very random, and it does make Firelord seem like an idiot because Eric the Red look at him. He looks like a bad guy. He's even got horns on his helmet like a devil. He's dressed like a weird dominatrix. And then he basically says, oh, hey, this Xavier guy wants to take over the world. You should stop him. And he's like, oh, sure, I'm in. Let's go for it. And that's like the whole thing.
Yeah, no questions asked.
And he's still adamant, because if you get to the last panel, he's like, we've crippled the monster's body, Eric, but the head remains. The X-Men's leader, Charles Xavier, I'm a man I swear to slay. As if he's like been mortally, he needs to avenge himself against Xavier in some way, like he killed his mom or something.
Right, it's deep. Yeah,
I don't know where this all is coming from. You're really angry about a guy you've never met.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. And yeah, there are a lot of bubbles in this that actually, I feel like all the way up till now, I really haven't had any problems with the text. I never felt like there was too much. Like, it never crossed my mind, really. Like, I just kind of enjoyed everything as I went. But this particular stuff right here that you have on screen, it definitely there was a part where I like wanted to look forward and like, how much more do I have of this? Because like it is a lot of bubbles.
It feels like something out of The Incredibles. Like, oh, you got me monologuing again, you son of a gun. Oh my god. And Eric the Red, I legitimately, after reading this issue, I feel like Eric the Red may be the worst character in X-Men that I've ever read. Like, I'm sick of this guy. I'm just sick of this guy. He's been annoying in small ways up to now, but now he's annoying in like 7-8 pages of just monologuing.
He won't go away.
Yeah. Hey, Comics on the Mind is here. What's up, Kirk?
Hey, good to see you, Kirk.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a little confusing. A couple of as the more you read and the more it uncovers, it becomes less confusing. But at the time, because I didn't know, I mean, maybe if I would have known a little of the past with Eric the Red, maybe. Honestly,
but they've been slow burning him in all of these issues. He's like this. At the last panel, he's going to say a little something about how he's got a master plan, and then they move on to the next story. And it's like, he hasn't really amounted to anything. This is the first time they gave him a ton of talking and a ton of like, here's what he's up to. And it still doesn't amount to a lot that like makes any sense. Like,
yeah,
nonsensical.
And there's two different like monologues going on. There's the monologue of him between the X-Men, and then there's the monologue of him between him and Firestorm. And he's got to put on a front with Firestorm, so he's saying these things that I'm like, what? Why do you say? Because he's like, why did you treat the X-Men so harshly, or did you have to treat them so harshly? And I'm like, why does he care? Doesn't he want the X-Men dead? And then come to find out he's got this whole plan, and this is part of it. But at the time I was reading this, I'm like, this isn't making any sense, man. Like, this guy,
it definitely doesn't.
But they do a pretty good job the further on in the story of revealing it more to where it's not as confusing. But you have to get further on into the story to kind of get it.
Yeah.
So I grabbed a bunch of these, even though I don't think you necessarily need them. But we jump again to Lilandra's ship trying to make it to Earth. She's trying to contact Charles Xavier. She's been doing it kind of psychically from afar for a few issues. She's being chased, and her ship is being shot at by these guys. But there are so many moments here that are just, you can tell that Claremont and was into Star Trek in this time. He's got like ship's log, Imperial Stardate. He's got the whole thing. He's even look at the end, like Jackson Roy Kirk says. Look at the bridge. Look at the drawing of the red doors that are going to open where the characters come in. Look at the way the captain's sitting in his chair, like Kirk. Look at Uhura right over his shoulder. Like even the colors of the uniforms and the logos on the shoulders, like they are straight ripping on, or not ripping on, but copying and homaging whatever. To some Star Trek fans. So if you're an OG Star Trek fan, this is pretty cool, but also like a little unoriginal.
Yeah, I'm glad that you made this slide to kind of call out the Star Trek stuff, because I've been recently on a kind of a kick for the next gen stuff. I don't know why. I just started watching that, and I'm enjoying it. but yeah, it totally. Some of my first thoughts of these panels were Star Trek all the way.
So and it's just wanted to point it out for her quickly. Now they do shoot her ship just as she's teleporting, which looks very similar to teleporting in the show. And she lands finally lands and takes her helmet off and just faints dead away right in the middle of a dinner party with Xavier and Jean's parents.
Yeah, kind of ruins things. Misty's like, what?
So it totally reminds me of some sci-fi stuff. Her suit, with her helmet and everything. And I definitely got the Star Trek vibe from it too, but I don't know much about Star Trek, so I thought, well, I don't want to say that's kind of a stereotypical type of thing to say, but like,
no, but it is like a straight homage. Yeah,
it definitely got that feel.
All new, all different.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she tries to speak. We finally see her without her helmet. She faints dead away, and then that's it. Like, we're moving on. I think.
Yeah, I was hoping for something a little more exciting as she took her helmet off, but we didn't really.
And then within seconds of her, like, apparently fainting, they've stripped her. They've put her on the couch. They've stripped her out of her spacesuit, stripped her, put her on a couch, and then the freaking doors of the place blow off because apparently Firelord is fast, and he's flown all the way across to the apartment now from the place where the mansion is, and they're going to get in a brawl. And what my favorite part about this whole sequence is Misty Knight drawing a pistol on him.
Busted.
Misty Knight's got a revolver. Look at her. She's like, I live in she's like, my neighborhood's not safe. I carry a gun in my purse. What do you want? Yep. This for me is like a moment to rival Moira's AK-47 or Moira's AR-15.
That's exactly. That's what I was thinking.
She's just drawn down on this guy. She's like, I'm going to put a couple rounds in him and see if he's immortal then.
I love she calls him Buster. She's like, there's no holding back there. She's like, Buster? Yeah. No, that's great. It really reminded me of Moira. Only a smaller gun. That's which is better.
Right? But I love it. She's like right there. She's like, this is going down. Just be ready. Yeah. Yeah, so this was when I started to get confused as to where they were, bipping back and forth. But yeah, so I highlighted this bit too because I know you and Jeffrey both really dug the art in this sequence, and I would say this is like the highlight of the issue for me is watching the Phoenix throw down. And I think Kachung asked, is this the first time we see Phoenix fully using her powers in a fight? And yes, it is. So there's a key element in that way. But Jeffrey, what did you dig about these panels?
Because I'm Phoenix right there, that should have been a full page. That's one of the dopest panels. But yet you get, like, if you can tell, I'll hold up my book. It's really just this small little tiny panel down here.
Look at
And that's such a beautiful panel. Like, if they could did that as a splash page, I would have loved it.
Yeah, agreed for sure. The parts that I really liked with all the panels that you have up are the close-ups of the face for Jean and even Firelord. Just the details within those drawings, and even the one on the bottom right, towards the right of Jean, like her face is kind of shadowed. I just feel like there's so much emotion out of that, and so much like that it's like showing and representing there. So I really that stuff stood out to me. And then obviously, because I am a Phoenix, that was such a big panel right there too.
Yeah, you just got to show it's just pure raw emotion coming out of it,
Yeah, it's almost like Super Saiyan, actually. The bottom right, when Jean Grey. I don't know if you guys watch Dragon Ball Z at all. But.
So when Firestorm busts in, they're in Jean Grey's parents' house. No, they're Are they at her parents' house? Or her parents are at her apartment, right?
They're at Jean's parents' apartment, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean. She's the MVP just because of how she dominates this issue. They clearly brought Firelord in just to give her somebody she could throw down against and actually like stand a fight. Like it would be like if they had done this against Eric the Red, or if they had done this against.
And they did a good job at proving the power of the Phoenix. Exactly. Because if you look at Firestorm, he just like shook the other X-Men off like they were a fly on his shoulder, right? Like, and then he has this epic battle with the Phoenix. So like that just shows you that like she's doing the job that like 5 other people couldn't do. She's just a powerful, fierce creature.
Yeah.
Jackson Roy Kirk says it's Jean and Misty's apartment. So there you go. So I was still confused. So thank you, Jackson Roy Kirk.
There you go.
And I think the fight continues. This was my favorite bit here.
Yes.
You get Firelord being launched out of the apartment, bouncing off some structures there, crashing into a car, blowing it up. But if you read the dialogue box, I did not realize this when I read it as a youngster because I just probably wasn't paying enough attention. I was probably just looking at all the explosions and such. The two people talking here are the writer and artist of this comic book. The writer says, anyway, Dave, he hits the ground with this incredible sound effect. And then it says, boom. That's Claremont.
Yep.
And then the guy he's talking to is Dave Cockrum, who drew this issue. And so then you have Claremont saying, Dave, aren't you listening? And then you have Cockrum saying, Chris, do us all a favor, shut up and run. I love this. This is hilarious because previously, Jeffrey, in an earlier issue, 99, I think maybe, we had Stan Lee and Jack Kirby cameo. They are going Christmas shopping, and the X-Men walk by and they comment, wow, there's a lot of kissing in this book now. They wouldn't let us do that back when we were making this book.
Yeah,
I saw that sequence, and I didn't realize it was, Cockrum and Claremont. And I was just kind of like, that's just kind of an odd thing to throw in there, But now that I know what it is, it makes a little more sense, kind of puts a little bit of understanding to it. It's fun.
Yeah, I thought it was clever. Especially them, Dave saying, Chris, do us all a favor, shut up and run. When I know, or I've heard that Chris is a really big talker. Like he talks a lot. So I just thought it was even more funnier that he's particularly telling him to shut up.
Absolutely. So for those of you that love that kind of stuff, I think it's very hilarious the kind of way they did it. And again, for me, it reminded me of the Stan Lee, Jack Kirby cameo they had just even like 7 issues ago. Their way of their pulling in the Marvel writers and artist pool into the comic is kind of fun. I dig that.
Yep.
So this was my favorite panel. Plus the color work on these pages is just wicked cool. So yeah, Jean is a boss. There's some cool fighting with Firelord. It continues here. Some great colored stuff. What do you think of the way these came out, Justin? I in particular, this one with her blasting the pink light and the Phoenix behind her. That's just freaking cool.
I absolutely love it. Like, I really love how they fill all these like explosions and stuff. The background is like kind of filled with the motion of which way these powers are going and these explosions that are happening. And I just like how Jean's like whole body's glowing in the one in the bottom middle there. These are some really cool panels in general. I think they did a really cool job with it.
Yeah, like the one where she's got the Phoenix behind her and she's shooting blasting them with the pink blast, and it's just the little bit of pink in the back with the black dots. I don't know what they do, what they technically represent, some blackness or something of some sort, but it's cool looking. Like you said, the pink as she's flying, like they do a really good job at just making it look pretty darn cool.
Yeah, and I think just like you said earlier, Jeffrey, like any one of these could have been a splash page, right? Any one of these in a comic made nowadays probably would have been a splash page. For me, that's one of the issues that frustrated me with this particular comic was they just felt like they just kept rushing to get to the next thing because there was so much story to get in. Even this moment, she blasts him, and it says in one of the boxes, Firelord is gone. Blasted 12 miles west across the Hudson to the New Jersey Meadowlands. I was like, okay, she blasted him 12 miles. Now I got another location I got to keep track of.
Yeah. Oh, what's up, Rod? Costa Rican is in the house. And Ruben Guzman's in the house. What's up,
Ruben.
Cowabunga.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I cut this a little bit just so that we have all the Jean stuff kind of together. I think now we can get back to Eric the Red, whose master plan apparently was to attack them at the apartment. Never mind that he invaded the mansion. Attack them at the apartment because that's where Lilandra was going to appear. And Misty pulls her gun, doesn't work. He blasts them all with some kind of stun ray. And literally within seconds, for me, that panel, and then the next panel is he's on the roof and he has built some freaking device that looks like straight out of Avengers, and it's on top of Tony Stark's tower, and it's going to bring all the aliens from another place. It's the word box, or the box above him says the sun blast takes care of everybody in the apartment, and from there it's a short climb to the roof. He carries these characters to the roof. And there it's a short climb to the roof and a fast 10 minutes of work to construct a Stargate.
Yeah, this was kind of forced for sure. Yeah. Well, just
this is driving me crazy. The dude built a Stargate in 10 minutes. I want to know how he even got it to the roof. The guy traveled the same distance this Firelord traveled from the mansion to this apartment. He brought the equipment to make the Stargate. He's a hard worker. He's a speedy builder, is what I'm basically saying.
He needs to work with IKEA and help them get these things built faster because this.
You need a Stargate built? Call Eric the Red.
Yeah, exactly.
And then of course the actual team of X-Men show up in their little flying. Well, it looks a little bit like the Fantastic Four jet, but they show up. He blasts them out of the sky in one shot. And what does Wolverine do but bitch about it? Wolverine says, "What's the matter, leader man?
I'm glad you put that
more
on
than you can handle."
Yes.
Your ship just got shot down. You're all going to die. It's about to explode. And that's when you take the time to heckle your boss?
Yeah, get off my back. Yes, I'm glad you put that. That's so good that they did that, though. They still took the time to make Wolverine and put out a little bit of them into this.
Lasso says, imagine what he could have done if you gave him a half hour. It's very true.
It's basically a commercial break. He took a commercial break and he built a Stargate.
Yeah.
I feel like it's something you would have just pulled out of your pocket and threw out there. So in 10 minutes, how are you going to construct something like that? You know, like.
Well, he's been failing at fighting the X-Men at every turn. I'm just maybe impressed that he could do something right in 10 minutes.
Yeah. I like
where he keeps his tools in that skin tight dominatrix outfit.
Well, yeah, you think it's this big kind of like construction thing that he's got going on here, and you see him over there like working on it or doing something. So it's like, man, where do you got these parts laying around?
It's just kooky. And then, of course, the ship blows up and they're all falling out of the sky. And we cut back to our heroes. And Storm is saying, or Banshee's saying, I've got Cyclops, Storm. Where's Nightcrawler? And she's like, I thought you had him. They're all just like, I don't know where he went.
Yeah.
And then Wolverine, yet again, complete douchebag moment, says, don't sweat it, lady. The Goblin's probably bamfed himself over to Jean's rooftop so he can hog all the action. Because, yeah, we know that Nightcrawler just wants to be in the action. That's what he's all about, is showboating.
I like that he says the word bamfed. He bamfed himself.
Yes.
I do like how the drawings are for Nightcrawler kind of swinging. It actually reminded me of some of the earlier Daredevil stuff. I was reading a couple of months ago, was kind of exploring more of the early Daredevil, like the yellow suit stuff. And some of those, like, the way the motion of, you can see him in 4 different spots and how he's like spinning through around these poles and stuff. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I love that sequence. And again, I feel like they really rush this little bit because he opened the Stargate, he picks up Lilandra, runs through just in time for Nightcrawler to try to stop him, but then fail.
Yeah.
Because apparently that's how quick the Stargate works. Because he bamfs, falls right through it, and I'll tell you, dude, Xavier is kind of a whiny bitch in this issue.
I was definitely going to get to that.
Look at how much he's always in this pose, this like scream face, fury, holding his fist in the air.
Yeah,
this is when you get to see like the dictator Charles Xavier come out when he doesn't get his way, and like he just like starts throwing like this tantrum. Like this is when you kind of like you kind of look at Charles Xavier in another light, at least for me, because you watch the cartoons as a kid, and like I'm not as into the comic books as you guys definitely have read, but like Charles Xavier, they put him off as this good guy, but then there's always this little backstory you see in like the comic books where he's got like a mean streak in him at times, you know what I mean? And it's just a different side of him to see.
For sure. Yeah, he definitely has that kind of a darker side that you you see from time to time, and we've already seen a few times through these previous issues. So
I love too that, like, I mean, this team has a few hotheads, people that get upset real quickly. Jean Grey, obviously now as the Phoenix, is somewhat notorious as struggling with anger issues, but she's calming him down.
Yeah.
She's like, calm down, Professor. Things aren't that bad. Like, she's basically trying to give him a psychic chill pill. Like, Professor, deal with it. He's like screaming at them. I think my favorite is the parents are saying, Xavier, who are these costume people? Parents are still trying to catch up to the fact that their daughter's a superhero.
Yeah.
And Jean is like, Mom, Dad, there's no time to there's no time to explain. And Xavier says, are you blind, Jean? You've plenty of time now because Eric's taken Lilandra. You've never met her before, Xavier. You've never met her. Just chill. You're very upset. For all our supposed powers, we're helpless to save her.
And then they do a good job, I feel like, in this panel, because she's like, you told me telepathically. Like, they kind of take a lot of dialogue and kind of just digest it down all of a sudden. And it's like, oh, yeah, instead of like trying to have Charles Xavier explain all this stuff, all of a sudden Jean Grey's just like, oh, you told me telepathically this. So I felt like that was kind of cool how they did that, because that could have been a lot of wasted
Well, they didn't have the room and the time for it.
No, right.
This is the end of the issue. The next panel is like she opens it with the Phoenix Force.
That's
and they all don't even take time to make a battle plan. They don't know where they're going. They're just all like, we're in. Let's go. See you. I even love Banshee. We'll be back with the Lady Prowls. Don't you worry. Like, you guys are crazy. Do you even know? It reminds me of the moment in Galaxy Quest, which I love, when they land on an unusual planet and they just open the door. And Sam Rockwell's like, what are you doing? Do we even know if there's air out there? Do we know if there's oxygen? What's wrong with you? Like, is this breathable air that what are you doing?
It's true.
And they're all just diving in. And Xavier is like down for it. He's like, so do this. This is the best choice. Go and do it. And the parents are hilarious. Jean, wait, Jean. They're like, come back. Their daughter has just become a superhero, opened a portal to another planet, and vanished in front of their eyes while her apartment got demolished.
And they want an explanation from Xavier. And what's he give them?
And they're just gone.
I just sent them to die. Is what he tells them. I was like, I think I just sent her and all the other X-Men to die. It's like,
that's what he even says. He's like, I just sent them to their deaths. Oops. Oh, wow.
Yes.
Which is actually, I think, the next panel where he's like, he's like, I want an explanation, Xavier. What have you done with our daughter? And he goes, I think I've sent her and my X-Men as well to their deaths.
Yes. Like, what?
Professor X, you really got to find that doctor voice that like calms the people down and doesn't just basically tell them, hey, your daughter, you just watched your daughter for the last time. Jump out on you. And then to make it even better is like Firelord rolls back in and he's going to brawl. And that's the end of the issue.
Yeah, that's where he was like so clumsy, and he's just like, "Wait, get back here!" Like,
oh my god, this issue just crammed so much stuff in that I think like nothing had a chance to even breathe. I felt like the parents in this issue. Wait, my daughter's a superhero, and she just went to die, and her apartment just got demolished. What is happening?
They don't even question the fact that Lilandra just shows up in the middle of the apartment, like nothing, no shocker there to them.
It's just wacky and the end when he's like, I'm gonna blast you, and then Xavier's like, you may destroy the Earth today, but if the X-Men fail tomorrow, the universe will die. Xavier's putting a lot of pressure on his team to like save the galaxy. It's intense.
Typical Xavier,
right?
Yeah, where are the Avengers at this time?
Right?
Do we know? Like,
couldn't call anybody.
Sounds like this is their kind of job,
right? So, Jeffrey, we usually finish with a little like, numerical breakdowns, key elements, and things. So, like we said, this is the first full appearance of Lilandra, finally, because we've had like 4 cameos. First full use of the Phoenix Force and her powers. First time we see a few of these other Shi'ar folks, people, whatever. And then I thought this was cool. I learned this reading about the issue. Firelord was a replacement. Chris Claremont wanted either Silver Surfer or Thor to throw down with Phoenix in this issue. But upper management at Marvel was like, no, we're not going to, you just invented this girl. She's only been around for like 3 issues and you're going to have her beat Thor? Like, no. Thor is not your guy to just roll in and destroy. No good. And so they gave him Firelord instead. So he had to make do with Firelord.
Well, I mean, you give him Firelord, cosmic powers, and making him a Herald of Galactus. At least they showed that he's got to be somewhat of a viable foe.
Yeah, they gave them another Herald of Galactus, right, instead. Yeah, but they were like, no, you're not going to beat up Silver Surfer or Thor just to show that she's tough.
It would have been cool to see a Silver Surfer or Thor, but when you put it like that, it kind of makes sense because it'd be like, you don't want someone to just go destroy Thor or Silver Surfer and then that character never do anything, die off or something.
Right.
Yeah, the top of the top. I saw Beta Ray Jim say something about that it was cool that they did put someone of their level, but I didn't realize that they just didn't let him use the other characters. It's really cool.
Well, I think Marvel's always been like that. I remember Chip Zdarsky saying he had to really convince Marvel to let him have Spider-Man show up in his current Daredevil run, that like Marvel was not happy about the idea. They don't let other people play in other people's ponds. Like, you have the Daredevil pond, you stay in your pond.
Oh, wow.
And he had to say, like, I need Spider-Man for like 3 issues. He's going to play this sort of moral compass for Daredevil, and he had to sell them on it. It was like a conscious struggle.
Right. Wow.
So, a little something.
Yeah, you wouldn't think of that. Yeah.
So money-wise, a 9.8 of this book goes for $800. It's actually one of the cheaper books in this run that we've been looking at. The price dropped from a 9.8 to a 9.6 is just above ×3. It's not a ×4, and it's a little less than a ×3, a little more than a ×3. So the ratio is still high, but it's a little closer to reasonable. There are only 112 9.8s, 271 9.6s, 278 9.4s. So a little bit of the math on there.
3.5 times is not too bad, I guess.
No, for what we've been seeing, I mean, it's not the 6s and the 5s that we've seen, the ×5s. So, Jeffrey, some of the issues we've seen from a 9.6 to a 9.8, it's 5 times the price in this run.
That's crazy. I was just looking at the price break from like 9 to 9.8.
Right?
9.2, $100, 8 times.
Yeah, they have some.
Mine is definitely in the $3 range, but I'm okay with that.
The $3 range. Chet has a 9.8 signed by Stan and Chris. Incredible.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I think it's also an underappreciated book, and I think that if they do Phoenix right, I think this book should, in my opinion, be one of the ones that goes along with 101, because 101 you get her first appearance, but she doesn't really do anything. She kind of blasts out of the water and faints, and that's kind of what she does in that whole issue. It's this one where we really see her in full power.
Yeah, plus you get to see Eric the Red build a Stargate in 10 minutes. I mean,
right? When else are you going to see that?
Yeah. That's
what did I lose? I don't understand. There's no way to vote here, but I want to say boo, John. I voted for your wife one time, and I'm getting crap on the lamer frame. And she legit drew a better drawing than you, although I did like your black and white Fred Flintstone. It was solid. It was solid, but hers was better. So suck it. Yeah, so I mean, I guess that's most of the math on this one. I think this is another issue that you gave me, Justin. So thank you for this book. I appreciate it.
Not me.
It wasn't? Okay.
Mm-hmm. But I'll take it. So,
hey, there you go. It did come from you.
Also, shout out to TJ for making.
I've been forgetting lately. Yeah, TJ, who is on a show tonight, and you can catch TJ talking. He's doing a slab discussion show. He sends me the fair market value information from Go Collect each week for these issues. He already sent me 106, so I'm already starting to build that slide. So I do appreciate him taking the time to share some of this information. So those of us that are researching a little bit more than just the enjoyment of the read can get some statistical stuff to go along with that.
Yeah. Also, Chet says Disney needs to do right by the Phoenix. I know another story is too much, but I feel the Phoenix saga needs a real shot.
I agree completely.
Definitely.
And that's one of my hopes, that when they do combine the X-Men Avengers universes, we will hopefully get some of these great stories done better than maybe they were done originally. Because I don't hate the X universe that Fox had, but it's definitely not 100% what I was looking for.
The way that I look at it is that Phoenix movie set the bar so low that if Disney does anything, like, it's just gonna be like, finally, you know what I mean?
It's true. It's like, how much worse can you get? It's pretty bad.
It was. I watched it. Like, I was trying to have an open mind about it when I was watching it.
Same. All right. So, any final thoughts here, Jeffrey, on this issue as we wrap this up? Do you think you'll end up reading any more from here, or what do you think?
Yeah, no, for sure. I do have a lot of Uncanny X-Men. It's just nothing this early. So it was cool to go back and read something this early. Like I said, I feel like if I would have had a little bit more, which is my fault for not having the other issue, but if I would have had a little more knowledge of what happened before this issue, it might have helped me into understanding a little bit more. But I think it was a solid issue. Like you said, like, they tried to cram so much into these 32 pages that they did a good job at that. Like, there's a lot of times that books try to shove a lot into it and it's an epic failure. So it was a good story. Like I said, for me though, like, the ending, like, I don't know what happened at the end, and I don't have the next issue or anything. So that's kind of put it down on there. And I could have used another splash page, especially that one of the Phoenix. But
next week, Jeffrey, we'll show you exactly what happens in the next issue. If you want to hang on with that next week, we'll break it down the same way, brother.
Yeah, man, for sure.
Sorry,
I get all the evens, and he gets all the odds. We'll be back before you know it.
Yep. These Tuesdays fly by, man. They really do.
I did miss it last week for sure.
Definitely.
I appreciated the break just to reset a little bit.
Definitely, yeah.
Todd Christian, he says, don't do an origin story. Just start with Mutant Massacre. I agree with that so much. Like, so often when they do a new character or something, they try to do these origin stories. I don't think we need those anymore. They could just jump right in the middle of something, and get it going, and then let people go figure out the backstory or something later. But I'm tired of. I don't need all the origin stories. Let's get some fresh ideas out there.
Can you show that book one more time, Jeffrey? Let's get a good look on the inside.
The doo brown page. These pages are crispy and
crisp. Chat, you just look at your 9/8, buddy. You just look at that 9/8.
Yeah, man. Trust me.
He saved this, Chet. He saved this book. Would you have rather gone into the trash for good?
Hey, trust me, if you look at any of my other books, Chet, they are not like this.
I just appreciate anybody who's going to go to the lengths that you went to save a Claremont X-Men book like that, brother. That is too cool.
Just to break it down real quick, Chet, I work for the garbage company. I pick up haul trash, stuff like this. I found this in a dumpster at work one day, and I kept it.
So cool, man.
It's a gem. That's a gem.
Yeah, this is the coolest thing. One of the coolest things I found at work, for sure.
Yeah, man.
That's cool, man. So for those that don't know, we like to end each episode looking back at the previous one, asking you some trivia. We have 2 giveaways we're planning down the road. I'm going to do a mystery X-Men box. Justin's going to do that Omnibus Volume 2, Claremont Volume 2.
You can win this.
To get in on these, all you got to do is, when you're watching the show, hang around at the end and try to answer some of the questions. We're looking for the first correct answer gets a ticket into the raffle that Justin's got and gets 2 points on the overall scoreboard. The second correct answer gets 1 point on the overall scoreboard, and the funniest answer gets 1 point on the overall scoreboard. So even if you haven't watched the episode, you could still just make us laugh and throw a point in for yourself to keep getting that rankings, because the top 2 people on the overall have high probabilities of getting some kind of a prize.
Yep. So
there's Wolf. I'm wearing his shirt. Good timing, actually, old Tony. I got your shirt on here, my man. And my first question is about last week. I had a slab with Tony's face on it behind me, along with 3 other slabs. Who was on the 3 other slabs? Not Tony. Tony wasn't on all 4. He was just on one of the 4 slabs. The other 3 had somebody else. Who was on those slabs?
Hulk.
Oh, we got issues in the house.
That's what Beard Comic Bro said. That's why I said that.
Bearded Comic Bros, right. So see if somebody else gets the correct answer in there. Bearded is correct. And Old Wolf is right behind him. Look at that.
Nice. Issues, you're still good, man. You still have a good amount entered for sure.
I don't think I have Bearded on my list yet. So Bearded, you just got 2 points, and he got a raffle ticket in the overall.
Very nice. Very nice. So we got
Bearded coming in strong. And the funniest answer was Sally Jesse Raphael from Beta Ray Jim. That would be awesome to see Sally Jesse on there. But no, it was not. Although I do like the Supremes is staying strong.
Oh, man.
You don't get that joke point. Sorry, buddy. Huck from Alpha Flight is, hey, they're coming sooner or later. Yeah,
hey, they've been in the Immortal Hulk, so
Gamma Flight.
That's right.
I dig that storyline. That was cool.
Yep. All right. My first question for the night is, who did Moira and Cyclops find on the floor when they first arrived to Moira's laboratory? There was somebody on the floor. I'll accept their real name or their
superhero name.
Yeah, their superhero name.
Jeffrey just randomly guessed Hulk on that and was like, right. He was like, wait, what?
No, I didn't. That Bearded popped up in the chat, and I was like, oh, I saw Bearded Comic Book say Hulk, and I was like, oh, Hulk, yeah, I love Hulk. Like,
no. It's perfect. It's perfect. I had to ask that question when you were on the show, right?
Yeah, that's cool.
Ooh, people don't know. It looks like a lot of wrong answers so far.
Oh, come on.
This was kind of a cool cameo. At first, I had to ask myself, "Is this his first appearance?" But it was not. It was. He had a few appearances before this. I didn't realize. Oh, there we go. I see a correct answer. We'll see if somebody else gets it.
Yep.
Barbara Gordon.
ODB was in there. Oh
ODB.
I'm gonna give Issues the comedy point for that one.
Yeah, I think that was pretty good.
ODB with the wow. But I see the first place answer.
Yep.
I'm going to give that person their 2 points and see if somebody else gets the same answer correct here. So
right, so here,
that's the correct answer, the multiple man.
John, do we give this second place one to Chet or Lasso?
Jamie, I'll count Jamie Madrox. That's close enough. I think Chet gets it.
Okay. I just had
It's close enough.
All right, so Jackson Roy Kirk.
Very, very close. Very, very, very close there. Okay, so yeah, it was Jamie Madrox, the multiple man. My other question is about the shirt I was wearing last week. Which Avenger was on my T-shirt from last week? You could kind of see the logo across the top. So which Avenger was on the T-shirt I was wearing?
Yep, and anybody looking this up, remember it's not on my channel.
It was on my channel. Yeah,
it would be on John's.
We got a couple.
I see it. Yep. Man, he's like been gone all night, but he jumps in and gets the correct answer. It was Iron Man, the invincible Iron Man is what it said.
Yeah.
So Issues gets another raffle point, another 2 points on the thing, and then
if you're not subscribed to I Got Issues, go check him out. He's getting ready to do a live show in about 5 minutes, everybody. Let's go
I'm gonna be there.
Watch him.
Hell yeah.
And let's see. Sorry, second place was Lasso, right? Yeah. Lasso. Where are you at? There you are. Lasso moving up this list overall, Lasso. You are getting up there, man. Never pay attention to
Oh, bam.
It's fair. It's fair. Lucky guess. I don't have a lot of Avengers T-shirts, I guess. It's Black Panther or it's Iron Man. Those are really the only choices at this point.
I didn't know what it was. If I was going to guess, I was going to say Captain Marvel, but
there you go. If it was my daughters, then you're probably safe. All right, last question from Justin.
All right, last question. This is great. Which character were we introduced to last issue that we were not 100% sure of how to pronounce their name?
Yeah.
Which character were we introduced
I
to?
legitimately think I'm doing it right, but it almost makes it funnier if that's his actual name.
Yeah.
I'm glad you picked that one. I'm really glad. Those are my two guesses because they're the only ones I've seen you wear since issue. See, he knows well.
That's fair.
No one pays attention to John. That's fair. But I tried to wear this shirt. I thought it would draw a lot more attention to me, but apparently it's the wrong kind of attention.
So, they got. Let's see. What do we got in the guesses? I don't know. I don't know the answers. So
I do see the answer.
I see one correct answer.
Yep. I see a few typos.
And showed. I'll give it to Kachuk. Chode.
Is that what it is? Chode? Is this thing?
Yeah, there's a character named Chode, and I think that's how you say his name.
Yeah.
Yes, it's not Chod. How's it spelled?
It's actually CH''OD.
Yeah, so Chet got the first correct answer. He gets the raffle. Chet gets the raffle ticket and the 2 points, but I'm giving the second answer to Kachung. Let's see who's got the funniest answer.
Null is coming.
Oh man, this is tough. Eunice, Angus McWhirter. I think I'm going to give it to Issues for Geraldo Rivera.
Oh yeah, that's good.
So Issues gets another comedy point for Geraldo Rivera. So
Ron, what is he doing, Ron?
It's got to be Chode, right? It's not Chod. It's Chode.
Child.
The guy's name is Chode. Rod is busting a load. There you go.
Yeah.
I don't know why you're talking about that, but you don't need to tell me that in the chat, man.
What are you doing right now, buddy?
Wait. So
clearly, we know exactly what he's doing right now.
Oh.
So we have Chet, right? Chet was the first. Let me just make sure I marked that.
Yeah, Chet got the 2 points.
Okay.
Kachung got the 1 point, and Issues got a comedy point.
Got it. Very good. Well, you guys know the deal. Next week we will be over on John's Comics with Kids channel, 9:00 Tuesday. We'll be breaking down issue 106. And yeah, anybody that stayed to watch the replay, we appreciate it. Make sure you guys. I hope you all took your notes for tonight so that you can answer the questions next week, because we'll keep this going. Before we wrap things up. Jeffrey, thanks for being on the show, man. This is really cool to hang out, brother.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for asking me to be on, man. It was awesome.
Hell yeah. And guys, if you don't follow Jeffrey, I did put I put your YouTube link and your Instagram link there. So anybody that's not following him, make sure you check that out. I know Chet said he's gonna reach out to you.
Yeah, I'm not like I don't do stuff like all the time, but I post videos, when I just randomly at times. So, but appreciate all the support. Yes.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. And same with John. If anybody, I think I recognize everybody here, but in case anybody's brand new, John's information you're down in the description as well. Yeah, I think that's it for now. We'll wrap this up. I guess we'll all jump over to. Is it on your channel, John?
It's on. I got Issues, but I will post it in my community tab if you want to find the link.
Perfect. Very cool then. Yeah, I guess we'll wrap everything up, and we'll see you all on John's 9:00 next Tuesday. All right, guys, that's it for today. We'll see you later.
See you guys.
Peace.